The main picture shows an Alpine Salamander, and the photos along the top, obviously two views, and the flowers to the top right are common bistort. This is my wildlife watching vlog from my trip to Interlaken in Switzerland. I went in late June, and even then spring is still kind of happening, because in the mountains spring is a lot later. So is Interlaken a good place to go wildlife watching? I'm going to say yes, because you've got the mountains. You can also very quickly drop down the valleys and see lower elevation species. And I would say this is particularly interesting if you're into flowers or butterflies, because you're then getting an incredibly wide range of different species from different elevations and different habitats. And because its peak of wildlife interest is in the middle of more towards the middle of the summer, it's something to do when other places it's not a peak because of the late spring. Anyway, this is a view of the Eiger, and I'm on the first of three walks which I'm going to describe in this vlog. So on this Biglen Alp walk, I saw ibex. Well, this is Alpine Salamander. I saw ibex on the rocky slopes that we saw photographs of earlier, and then there was a damp patch earlier on in the walk where I saw these Marsh orchids and also the Alpine Salamander. And then the walk continued around to the southern section, through some woodland where I saw this lesser butterfly orchid, and then it continued into a sort of area of fields where I saw this white false Helleborine and lots of other flowers. I'm seeing lots of flowers all the way along, just picking out the highlights. The cows here, the friend and enemy of the flowers. If there's too many cows, they eat all the flowers and all their poo will encourage the grass. But if there's just the right number of cows, just a few, they keep generally all the plants down, and that sort of lower kind of habitat without all the trees and bushes helps to favour flowers. I was stumbling on that sentence, wasn't I? Because it's actually quite complicated, so I'm kind of just roughly kind of generalising there. But generally it's true. Second walk I tried, I've called it the north face of the Eiger walk, which is a bit silly. It's not really walking up the north face of the Eiger, but it's just below the north face of the Eiger, and it's along the scree slope, which is a unique habitat. Some plants are able to survive in this continually moving landscape. Plants including the chamois cress, which we're going to see in a moment, which is named after the chamois that lives in the mountains. I think it's amazing to think they survive the long winters and then can flower during the brief alpine summer. This is a saxifrage or saxifraga, depending on how you want to pronounce it. This is an alpine buttercup. So often they look quite similar to species seen in other parts of the world or other habitats, but these are unique versions in the mountains. Often they're a bit smaller, the ones in the mountains. This is a round leaf pennycress. Smaller because they have less time, the summers are shorter, and often nutrient availability might be lower, or it's colder, or it's just generally a tougher environment. And this is an alpine species of pansy. My video camera broke on this trip, so here is an attempt to video rock ptarmigan with my mobile phone. Kind of makes you realise that my wildlife watching vlogs wouldn't work unless I had a dedicated wildlife camera. I was very excited to see these. I've wanted to see these for a long time. Missed out during a few trips to European mountains. Finally saw one this time. The third walk that I'm describing in this vlog was a place called First. Slightly odd name if you're used to just speaking English. This is a water pipit which I saw early on the path. In European mountains I'm used to seeing water pipits all the time. So if you're into your bird watching, they're like a meadow pipit, but they're not brown all over and they don't have the white in the wing. So very roughly that's a way of identifying them. There's lots of other features as well, obviously. And if you're worrying about comparing them to rock pipit, usually rock pipit is found on the coast and water pipit in the mountains, so you don't have to separate them. Lots of wet areas along the walk, including the spot where I saw that frog. I'm sure a lot of people have taken this photo where you use the surface of the lake to create a mirror effect. So I'm not claiming to be the first person to take that photo. In the lake is some fish. I think this is amazing. How on earth can they survive up here? Apparently their bodies include a form of antifreeze, which enables them to survive the low temperatures even below freezing, which I think is amazing. So then the route I took circles south. For example, this stream feeds a fantastic area for flowers. I'm going to finish off this video with a sequence of flower photographs, because why not? Again, focusing in mainly on alpine flowers. This is a daisy from the leopard's bane group. So that sounds a bit technical. You get groups of flowers which are so similar they're very difficult to tell apart, and that was a leopard's bane group daisy. This is a primrose. Coming up in a moment is a speedwell, which is quite unique. Notice the number of petals and the projecting stalks from the centre of the flower, and the blue coloured petals with a white base. This is an Alpine lavage, and we're going to finish off with one of my favourite alpine flowers, the Alpine toadflax. Thanks for watching. Remember, loads more information on my blog, link in the description.